Attention passionate Kansas City CHIFS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Kansas City Chiefs' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Kansas City Chiefs fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Kansas City CHIFS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Chiefs this offseason, you know that Brett Veach and his team are always thinking ahead, always planning for that next step to keep Kansas City on top. And it's no different this year. As we edge closer to training camp, the buzz around the team is centered on how they're going to fill some critical gaps, especially on the offensive line and the defensive front. It's all about maintaining that championship edge, and the Chiefs are definitely aware of what's at stake. The NFL offseason is a game of chess, and Kansas City's moves could very well decide whether they're lifting the Lombardi Trophy again or facing tough competition in the AFC that's constantly evolving. Let's talk about the offensive side first because, as most of you know, the offensive line is the backbone of any successful team, especially for a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably the best in the league right now. Last season, the Chiefs faced some challenges in protecting Mahomes, especially in the interior line. The current plan involves some young players and veterans, but there's an undeniable risk when you're counting on unproven talent in a season where every game counts. Mike Caliendo, a former undrafted free agent, had his moments, but he clearly showed that he's not ready for the big stage against top-tier defenses. Kingsley Suamataia, a promising rookie, is still transitioning into the NFL, and while he's got potential, experience is crucial in a league where the margin for error is razor-thin. That's why the idea of bringing in a veteran like Brandon Scherff makes so much sense. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Scherff is 33, and he's not the all-pro guard he used to be. But don't overlook the fact that he's been remarkably durable, playing all 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons, and he's got a wealth of experience against some of the toughest defenses in the league. His presence in the locker room and on the field could be exactly what Kansas City needs to stabilize that line. Think about it. This team's Super Bowl aspirations aren't just about having a flashy offense. They're about protecting Patrick Mahomes at all costs. Signing a one-year stopgap like Scherff could be a game-changer, providing that veteran leadership and consistency at a position that's been somewhat of a question mark. Now, moving to the defensive front, and this is equally critical. The Chiefs' defensive line has been solid, but they've lacked that consistent, dominant presence in the middle, a true nose tackle who can clog up the running lanes and occupy multiple blockers. Right now, outside of Mike Pennell, who's 34 and isn't exactly a sure thing, the depth at nose tackle isn't great. Fabian Lovett, a young undrafted free agent, is in the mix, but he's unproven at the NFL level, and with a position like that, experience and proven production matter a lot. Enter Raekwon Davis. Davis, a second-round pick from Miami, is entering his 6th NFL season, and he's the kind of space eater that the Chiefs desperately need. Standing at 67, and weighing around 325 pounds, Davis specializes in stuffing the run. Last season, he was credited with limiting opponents to just 20 rushing yards per carry, which is incredible in today's NFL. He's a disruptive force inside, and although he's not known for sacking the quarterback, that's not the role he's being targeted for here. His job is to occupy blockers, clog up the middle, and allow the linebackers and edge rushers to make plays. The only concern, of course, is his health. Davis was released by the Colts earlier this year due to a non-football illness, and he has a history of high blood pressure. But if he's fully healthy, he could be a steal for the Chiefs, adding much-needed depth and a reliable presence in the trenches. And speaking of pass rushers, the Chiefs have been linked to Jadeveon Clowney for quite some time. Clowney is one of those players who, despite not always putting up flashy sack numbers, makes a difference with his versatility and run-stopping ability. Over the years, he's played for multiple teams, including the Texans, Seahawks, and Browns, and he's always been a disruptive force when healthy. Last season, even in a down year, he managed to rack up 5 sacks and 44 quarterback pressures, numbers that any team would love to have from a situational pass rusher. Clowney's potential signing could fill a vital role on the edge. The Chiefs currently have George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, Charles Omnihu, and rookie Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who's showing promise but still developing. The problem is injuries happen, and depth is always tested in this league. Clowney could be that veteran presence who can step in and make an impact on passing downs, especially against the run. The key factor here, of course, is cost. Clowney's last big contract was just over $2.5 million with Baltimore, and for Kansas City, they'd be looking for him to take a similar pay cut. Something that's very feasible considering his age and the current market. Now I want to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Kansas City Chiefs news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Because these signings and potential additions could be the difference between a team that's just good and a team that's great enough to compete with the best in the league. The Chiefs aren't just resting on their laurels. They're actively trying to upgrade their roster in key areas to ensure they can contend for another Super Bowl. Looking at the bigger picture, this offseason is about more than just filling spots. It's about maintaining that championship mindset. The AFC is getting more competitive each year, with teams like the Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, and Dolphins all making moves to get better. The Chiefs, however, have shown resilience and adaptability, and that's why they remain a top contender. Patrick Mahomes continues to redefine what it means to be a quarterback in this league. His ability to improvise, extend plays, and deliver under pressure makes him one of the most dangerous players in NFL history. But even Mahomes, as incredible as he is, needs a solid offensive line to give him that extra second, that extra inch to make game-changing throws. And it's not just about the offense. The defense, especially the front, needs to be stout. With the addition of a player like Davis and potentially Clowney, the Chiefs could turn their defensive line into one of the most formidable units in the league. That would allow their secondary, which already has playmakers like Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, to be more aggressive, take more risks, and create turnovers. It's all about that synergy, that chemistry that championship teams build over years. Now, looking back at the recent history of the Chiefs, their journey to the Super Bowl in 2020, and their back-to-back AFC Championship appearances, shows a team that's hungry, disciplined, and always thinking a few steps ahead. The core of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and a solid defense has been the foundation, but the margins are razor-thin. A single injury or a key signing can tilt the balance. That's why these veteran free agents, like Scherff, Davis, and Clowney, are more than just names. They're potential difference-makers who can elevate this team to new heights. And let's not forget the importance of leadership. Veterans bring experience, calmness during crunch time, and a sense of accountability that younger players look up to. Scherff, for example, has been through the playoff battles, and his leadership in the locker room could be invaluable as the Chiefs aim for another deep postseason run. Similarly, Davis and Clowney, with their extensive NFL experience, can mentor the younger linemen, helping them develop and prepare for the intensity of the upcoming season. As we look ahead to training camp, the Chiefs are undoubtedly going to be one of the most intriguing teams to watch. The roster is shaping up, but those final tweaks, signings, cutdowns, and adjustments will determine how far they can go. The AFC is no longer a one-horse race. It's a multi-headed monster with teams capable of beating anyone on any given Sunday. But Kansas City's secret weapon remains their combination of elite coaching, superstar talent, and strategic roster moves. That's why, even with some uncertainties, they are still the team to beat. In conclusion, this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most interesting in recent memory for Chiefs fans. The potential signings of veteran players like Scherff, Davis, and Clowney aren't just about filling roster spots. They're about making a statement. The Chiefs are committed to defending their crown, and these moves could be the final pieces needed to solidify their dominance. Keep an eye on this space because as soon as those signings happen, or if the Chiefs make a trade or two, you'll want to hear all about it. The road to another Super Bowl in Kansas City is paved with smart decisions, resilience, and that unyielding Chiefs spirit. So get ready, because the best is yet to come, and it's going to be an exciting ride. And now, Kansas City Chiefs fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and TO, the Kansas City Chiefs. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Kansas City Chiefs news.